Alright, today we're going to have some fun with LED lights, LED replacement lights for the Boomer 40. You can see I've replaced the stock work lights on the Boomer with these pretty inexpensive Asian 16 LED assemblies. Surprisingly, they're pretty well built. They got a huge metal heatsink on the back of them. They look to be pretty waterproof, and it took about 20 minutes to take off the old ones and put the new ones up. The only bad thing about it is there's no provision to rotate them right or left, so that could be an issue. But that's what they look like, and I'll show you. This is what the stock lights look like. I believe, don't quote me on this, but I know they're a lot brighter than incandescent bulbs, and I think they're even brighter than halogen. They may be xenon. So what I've done is I've pointed them up a little bit higher. I normally keep them pointed down lower so that I can see what I'm doing behind me. But this evening, as soon as it gets dark, what I'm going to do is we're going to turn these work lights on, and we're going to point out across into that open area over there. I've got a pretty good idea. That big oak tree is about 75 feet away, and that big pine tree back there is a little over 100 feet away, so we got a rough idea of some distances. So we'll see how these things compare to these right here. And by the way, these two I got delivered for $15.95 from a US distributor. And we'll also show you what the stock headlights do. Surprisingly, they're very, very bright. The problem is that the loader gets in the way of the side light, and so really it makes it look like it's a spotlight coming out the front. It illuminates the area directly in front of the tractor, but not a whole bunch off to the side. One last thing, and this is pretty funny. I'm going to put this down right here. Now, I'm not making this up, but about 3 weeks after I purchased and got these LED bulbs, I got this notice from New Holland, and they are selling LED work lights. And it turns out these are the exact same thing as what we've got mounted on the tractor right now. So New Holland must have read my mind, and they're now offering LED replacements. So I've had these for a while, but haven't installed them until just yesterday. So tonight when it gets dark, we'll run the front lights, we'll run the new LED lights, and then we'll run the OEM, the original factory work lights that are in the back. I'll turn around the tractor so that we're always pointing in the same direction out there in that opening, and we can get an idea of what the light pattern looks like. So, alright, stay tuned. Let's wait till sunset. Alright, so it's finally sunset. Dark enough, I think, for us to evaluate the headlights. I'm now inside. I've got the loader lifted up all the way so that we can get a good look at the front headlights coming off the grill of the Boomer 40. As you can see, they're pretty darn bright, easily lighting up the oak tree. It's about 70 feet away. Now we've got a couple of pine trees, probably at about 90, and that far one back there is a little over 100 feet away. So the front headlights of the tractor do a very, very good job of that. Now what you see is I'm turning on, there's side lights available also, and they can come in pretty handy. They're located with a separate toggle switch below the steering wheel. So they're not awfully bright, but they do help light up a little bit of the front and the side. So let me step outside. I'll give you a view of what these lights look like. All right, so we're now outside. We've got a really nice moon up there. Doesn't look like the camera's going to be all... Ah, there it is. The camera's doing its best to focus on it. Oh well. All right, let me walk around to the front of the tractor. Well, actually, let me show you what the beam pattern is. I'll hold up the camera high up over my head so that you can get an idea of what the beam pattern looks like. I should point out that this camera is more sensitive than the human eye, so it's actually not as bright as it looks, you know, when you look at it visually, but through the camera here it looks pretty darn bright. I'd say by eye is a judgment call, but it looks about half as bright in reality. So that's what the beam pattern looks like of the front headlights alone. Stepping in the front, they're pretty darn bright. Alright, so let's go ahead and lower the bucket, and we'll turn on the very, very inexpensive 16 LED lights that we installed instead of the stock work lights on the front. I'll have to lower the loader for that because otherwise it'll block the view. All right, so now we're inside. I've lowered the loader all the way. All the front headlights are off. I could turn just the driving lights on. You can see them on, but they don't do anything to light up the front. I'm running the air conditioner, so maybe a little bit more noise in the cab here than normal. We'll go ahead and turn on the LED lights. And they're pretty darn bright. Pretty impressive, especially considering they're actually not that bad quality. You know, for $15.95 delivered, a pair of them delivered to your front door. Nice metal heat sinks on the back, seem to be waterproof. Come with mounting bracket and everything. The only problem is you can't tilt them up and down. I'll have to devise a way to do that. So this is just kind of stock mounting, quick and dirty, just to get them hooked up. I've just got it kind of jerry-rigged, just wired up to make them run. But as you can see, they do a pretty good job of lighting things up. Let me step outside. I'll give you a view from the outside. All right, here we are now from the outside. We've got only the LED working lights on top turned on, and you can see I'm holding it way up over my head to try to give you a good view of what the spread is of the light pattern. So I think they're pretty darn impressive, actually, for $16. And they do a fair job of lighting up the front, just like the tractor lights did. Not quite as bright. You can see that far pine is not as bright. But you know what's good is these LED lights give you such a wide spread that if I were to go and turn on the front lights of the tractor, I'd have a pretty good combination of lights. So hoping this gives you a pretty good idea of how they work. And I'll give you one more view standing alongside the tractor. Alright, let me jump in. I'll turn the, well actually I can reach in here. I'll go ahead and alright, so now we've turned on the tractor lights. And we could actually turn on the side lights as well. There we go. Alright, so that's pretty much all of the lights on. Top and bottom lights, work lights, little running lights. Pretty much trying to make it look like Wrigley Field here. That's what it looks like. It does a fairly good job of lighting things up. So between the two of them, I've got a really good spotlight aiming forward, and those LED lights really do a great job of lighting up the area directly in front of me. Just as a comparison, I'm going to turn the tractor around and we'll turn on the stock work lights that are on the back, but I'll point it out. I'll try to park the tractor pretty close to where I'm at now, and we'll point it out in the front here and we'll let you see what the two stock lights are, what they look like. I think they're just a pair of, you know, each light contains one bulb. I think it's a xenon bulb. Certainly not incandescent. It may be halogen, but I'm guessing it may be xenon. Alright, so I've got the tractor turned around. I've just got the driving lights on. Just the two little front lights and the red lights in the back. And I'll turn on the default factory supplied work lights that are up on top. So they're actually not too bad. They look to be not quite as bright, I think, as the LEDs, and a lot narrower beam width. Let me jump out of the cab. I'll give you a look from the outside. I'm a little bit, the camera's too narrow viewed here from the inside, but not too bad. Not too bad at all. Alright, so now I'm on the left side of the tractor. You can see we've got just the driving lights on, and we've got the work lights in the rear turned on. And we'll have to excuse the jumping around here. I'm walking across the lawn. They're pretty bright. Gotta look right at them. Now I do got them pointed up higher than where I normally keep them, kind of to make the test fair. You can see I've got them pointing further out to make it kind of a fair test to see how far they reach out. But this will give you an idea of what the pattern looks like. I'm backing up quite a ways. So I think you can see they're very much like a spotlight. Very, very long, narrow beam, kind of like cigar shape, with a slight amount of light coming off to the side. But the vast majority of the light is directed kind of like a searchlight. They call that a spotlight versus a flood type light or flood beam. Alright, so I hope this will be of help. Anybody deciding to change some lighting. And like I said, I just found it very, very interesting that what timing, 3 weeks after I bought these little LED lights for the front, I get a little postcard from New Holland saying that they offer the exact same lights. It'll be curious to see when I call them up how much they want for them. But anyway, hope this helps. We'll see you later.